welcome everybody to Viata's Tiny House Village and Soul Purpose Healing. We're gonna drum in with Becca Shea, bring in our ancestors, inviting our ancestors. And some people so tired from every tribe and language, people, every nation. Hey. Well, warriors are calling, there's a resurrection coming. It's your time to rise and shine. Wake up, you sleeping giant. Those love and justice are being healed by the peace of Yahweh, bringing us power through unity. Well, warriors are calling, there's a resurrection coming. Come alive. Yeah, wake up, you sleeping giant. Unity, peace, love, joy, diplomacy. Yes, yes, yes. Bring us together, bring us together. Ancestors, bring us together, bring us together. Unity, peace, joy, diplomacy. Yay! Welcome everyone to Soul Purpose Healing in Viata's Tiny House Village. I'm wearing a different look tonight. I decided to let all my cosmic curls come out. My hair is growing and I've been braiding my hair and it actually is growing, I think, from the braids. And so my contacts are in. So it's just a different look. I call this my war paint, in fact. I thought about, since we're talking about war tonight, actually, let me get my banner up. We're talking about war tonight. We want to bring in the spirit of diplomacy. And so I'm wearing my war paint as a representative of the Most High warrior tonight. Warrior bringing in diplomacy. How about that one? So I want to hear from you tonight about um, how this war has influenced you, because I received a call from someone who is very concerned about what they're seeing in the news, which is something we should not be doing. We should not be watching mainstream media, because mainstream media is full of propaganda, lies, deception, and controlled by the Zionists at this point. So, what I want to ask you tonight is to share with me how this war that you're hearing, wherever you're hearing it from, how is it influencing you? Because my guest tonight is Caroline Miss. I think her name is MYSS. Some of you may be familiar with her. She's an amazing medical intuitive. She's an author. She's a lecturer. She's a spiritual teacher. She is just the person we need now to take us to the next level of our evolution, especially during this time of conflict, war, and confusion and protesting. I came across a recent YouTube video of hers, and I haven't seen her or read her books in quite a while. But when I heard this video, I said, "Wow, this is just what we need, especially tonight as we go into what is influencing you. How is this war influencing you as citizens of the world? Maybe you're in the United States, maybe you're not. But I want you to let us know how this war is influencing you. But Caroline, if I don't have anyone press one or who no comments on Facebook, I did have a comment on Facebook though. Empress Regina, how about that? Empress Regina says, let's see, great being to all. Thank you, Empress Regina, for joining us tonight. And then we have Yana Alicia, Empress Regina, good evening and thank you. Good evening, everyone. Yona Alicia, good evening, everyone. Well, thank you, ladies, for joining us. Beautiful, beautiful sisters joining us tonight. All of my sisters are in the studio, and probably some of my brothers. So thank you. My question to you tonight is, how is this war influencing you in any, whether it's emotionally, mentally, whether it doesn't bother you at all? What are your comments? Because Caroline Meese, my guest tonight on YouTube, is going to share with us how her father, thank you. Naima says good evening. Naima's joining us. She says, good evening. You look gorgeous. I love the afro. Thank you. Thank you, darling. This is my cosmic curls, I call them. And my silver is really starting to come in. You know, I'm almost 70 years old and I barely have any silver. So I'm so proud. Well, not proud. I'm just wondering, okay, silver, come on in. I'm welcoming the silver whenever it shows up. But it's coming. See, it's coming. I'm seeing the roots and it's starting to pepper and salt and all that. Anyway, I just thought I'd change my look for tonight because we are talking about war and how it's influencing you. And as I was saying, I got a phone call yesterday from someone who has had a historical perspective on being in a Muslim community, I think it was, and how that affected her. And I was just really moved in thinking how, you know, each one of us is being influenced by this war in a different way. And I want to share with you Caroline Miss's testimony, because she had a father who was in the war in, I think it was World War II, and how that affected her was so interesting that I said I'm going to share this tonight, because she starts out in the video, and I'm going to try and get past the beginning of her audio, her sharing, and then I have a longer one to share with you about her teaching on the power of light. Your power, the power of your light. Whoa, powerful, powerful teaching. She's always been a very powerful, beautiful teacher. So that's our guest tonight, as well as you. If you want to share, just press one in the studio. If you want to share how this war has influenced you. Now, the call I got yesterday was mostly about how a lot of people don't understand or know the harshness of Islam. I think it was, and a lot of people are not seeing the other side of this war, and a lot of people are looking at this on mainstream media basically. So if you're doing that, it's going to be a little skewed on that, on the side of the Zionists, because who's controlling the mainstream media? Zionists. They own the stations. So if you really want to get the truth about what is going on over there, stay off mainstream media. There are tons and tons of TikTok videos and Facebook video, YouTube videos that you can get a very balanced perspective of what's going on, because you not only have Jewish people telling their story, but you also have rabbis and Islam and Christians, and just everyone is telling their story. So let me go to a caller and see if you want to share how this war has influenced you. And that's 347-231. Your mic is open. Are you there? I hear.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. Is this Dina?
Yeah, this is Dina.
Go ahead, Dina.
Greetings, everybody.
Greetings.
Yes, I wanted to share with you the answer to the first question, because I feel like even if you don't know anybody from that region, for the past month, a lot of people can agree the energies were pretty heavy around the world.
Yes.
Around the globe.
Yes.
And I just started recovering myself, and even though I don't have relatives right now, in Israel or in the Middle East, but still it hurts me just to know that people suffer on the other side. And I feel like it's very universal feeling, to feel this empathy, because we're one, this whole planet, and we're this humanity, we're one body. And it should feel that way if you're a normal human being, if you have everything, within you, within your humanities and such. But I also wanted to share my perspective, because I also happen to come from community that is Muslim majority, and because I happen to know certain things, and I wanted to share this with you, is I was a person who probably, if it didn't change and open my mind to new knowledge, maybe it would be me also who was protesting right now and being so politically active. However, the knowledge that I have kind of stops me, because it gives you like the wider perspective on the things that are going on. Because media is just the playing with our, basically, you can find confirmation bias for everything. For whatever is out there, you can find somebody say something, some theory, some made up video. And to really, and there's especially in our timeline, the end of Kali Yuga, where there's a lot of deception. Now it is especially important, the discernment, that quality of discernment what the truth is, because it's very, very distorted. But from the position of that person, the reason why I'm, more open-minded right now before taking any sides or making any major conclusion is because I used to be part of Muslim community, and I was also influenced, by not very heavy rhetoric like there is right now, that Jewish people need to be destroyed, but there are talks, and I understand why a lot of young people right now, they're buying the information because it's kind of familiar to me, to that past, how they feed the brains of like young Muslims. So basically what happens is, like, if you are belonging to one community, automatically everyone else, like you're in a brotherhood, and automatically everyone else is like, you're outside of our community. And whatever bad happens to one of yours, you automatically assume that everyone who hurt us is bad. And in this light, there's a lot of information coming out, and now I see it's unfolding too on social media. People uncovering Osama bin Laden letters, and even probably they're going to get to like Hitler and things like this in order to justify, which is, I understand also the perspective, how they they're feeding on this like more and more information. Because again, this group that right now is chanting and they protesting, it's just a group of marginalized people who don't know actually how the things are. And they have all this energy which is being manipulated, the mental energy being manipulated by the videos, but it all triggers people. And then they find this outlet, is what we can see in the protesting. But from my perspective, from what I've seen before I started discovering what is good about other religions, and it got me to the journey of learning shamanism, learning Buddhism, because I was also in that like rabbit hole, what's wrong with Jewish people and everything around. When you're into this kind of thinking, everything around is a confirmation bias. You'll find everything, whatever you believe in, you're gonna find according to your beliefs. So it was really dark, dark path, I would say, and it's not healthy to anybody. And what I would say would help me to kind of regain my senses is to ask a question. What is good about Judaism and its place in the world, and what is it meaning? And as soon as I changed the question, instead of looking for wrongs in people and looking at actually studying, because I started like reading books, I started meeting people, and I saw another side of it. And this was the first building blocks of me discovering like other religions, because before that I was kind of, when you grow up in a Muslim community, your path is set. So you're only allowed to marry Muslim people. You only got to stay within the culture, and you're not really encouraged so much to study other religions. But that was my stepping stone into learning the mutuality, into learning that the beauty of something different. And ever since day, in my life, I don't know, the way God and how universe operates, it's been sending me just a positive confirmation that I was wrong before. And ever since then, like over the 10 years, when I started studying other religion, Christianity, because I was so knowledge hungry to understand like what is the people are really arguing about. And it got to me that truly that we don't have actually any reason to argue. Honestly, like from God, there is no apparent reason that we have to fight. It is the way the political forces right now, they manipulate people in order to get to their feelings and make them act the way they expect them to act. This is a bigger problem. And we touched base last time on the previous workshop, about how majority of the leaders, they don't really care about people.
Okay, so Dina, Dina, let me ask you a question. Were you raised as a Muslim from your childhood?
Yes. So when I was a kid, in our town, we had radical Islamists. So when I was about 6 or 7, I discovered some video where radical Muslims, they would just cut off one woman's head just because she was homeless and she was Russian. So in their thinking, like they don't really deserve to live, and it was just so gruesome. And I remember being a kid and being afraid of it.
Okay.
And now 30 years later, I'm still afraid of the same thing.
Okay, what country?
The video about this.
What country were you raised in? Are you there, Dina? What country were you raised in?
Yes, I was raised in Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan. I
Yes.
think the last time
and
you were
the
last time you were on, we had to identify where is Kazakhstan.
Yes, it's right in Central Asia.
Central Asia.
It borders with the Central Asia. Yes, so we're right in a crossroads of between Asia and Europe.
Yes.
Between China, Russia. That's why we influenced by these countries, and we do have understanding, of their culture. It's kind of
okay. So would you say,
sort of cultural.
so would you say your experience in Kazakhstan with Muslims or Islam was negative, positive, or you don't really have anything too negative to say about it? What would you say, negative or positive experience with Islam in Kazakhstan?
Positive. In terms of positive, you know, obviously that sense of community is there's also like a positive side, of course, to the religion. Why otherwise it would be so popular? You know, the community of people.
Okay.
That people like they believe in ummah, kind of in a sticking together. I cannot tell you like a really major benefit because I don't think for our country the Muslim was a really good way. Originally, we used to believe in nature. We had a shamanism and we believe in Tengri, which is the universe. And then the expression of Islam happened in 13th century. This is how they
so I want to
like
introduce everybody to Carolyn Miss. She's from Chicago and she has her own experience of war and how she looks at it. So this is Carolyn Miss, and I'll come back to you.
I grew up, my dad was a Marine from World War II. And excuse me, and he was in the Marine divisions at Guadalcanal. So he spent 44 months in the Pacific, and that really formed him. And if they could have identified PTSD back when I was growing up, I think my father would have qualified. He had reoccurring bouts with malaria all through the 50s, and then he would have flashbacks during thunderstorms that he was being bombed. And how that influenced me was that I thought, what's wrong with my father? And my mom would say, Daddy went through a bad war. And this is, and I thought, And then I saw a movie when I was around, I think 8 or 9. It was called Guadalcanal Diary. And it had actual footage of Marine divisions landing in Guadalcanal. And I thought, oh my God, that's where Dad, my first song that I could sing was the Halls of Montezuma, which is the Marine anthem. So I ran upstairs and I said, Daddy, the war's on TV. And he came down and he looked, and there he saw this footage of landing and getting just massacred in Guadalcanal. And he started crying and left the room. And now I thought I'd made my father cry. That was the moment I turned to studying war. I'm not kidding you. I have never not been reading about wars, military conflicts, ever since then. And I would, as the years went by, I would, read 5 years on Russian history, the European history, Civil War history, just because the tendency, the need in us to solve problems with war, to conquer other people, to take what's not theirs, to dominate other people, to be superior to other people. This is the darkness in human nature. And it's universal. It doesn't belong to any country. It belongs to everybody. This is a human condition. Every single war, every single country was started by war. I mean, there were wars everywhere. Wars for boundaries. Wars. Washington fought in the Canada colonial war with Canada, trying to figure out the boundaries of who went where. And all the people that lose their lives when invaders come in. Need I remind you of American history before it gets rewritten? Conflict, wars, domination. This is human nature. Now, what's unthinkable is really this extraordinary moment in time. It's unthinkable that we could face an explosion in the Middle East. But I want you to think about going up the floor of your building and getting out of yourself, getting out of saying that can never happen, because that's what got Israel in trouble. They said, oh, this could never happen, and it did. So you have to get to a floor inside of yourself that says, well, I've got to stop telling myself certain things can't happen. because maybe they can. Yes, indeed. Let's get to the floor where nuclear exchange can happen. And don't tell yourself again. We've grown so accustomed to living with an ever-present nuclear holocaust that we don't even think about it anymore. We don't even think about it. We actually think that it can't happen, which is exactly why it can. Which is exactly why it can. And as this temperament and fever of rage, resentment, conflict is brewing everywhere. In my city, yesterday, a 6-year-old Muslim boy, a 6-year-old Muslim boy was stabbed to death by his landlord, by the landlord from the family. Why? Because he was Muslim. And the landlord was so enraged over the Middle East. He thought, well, not just Muslim, he was Palestinian. So he kills a 6-year-old. That boy was sent to the hospital with a knife still sticking in him. Okay? I think that's unthinkable. This idea that our anger, our personal anger, deserves an audience. And not just an audience, but deserves that we are entitled to having the world change because we're angry, because unjust things happen to us. You know what? That's unthinkable. And it's unrealistic. And it's dangerous. And it's also in the language of Buddha an illusion. We cannot, all of us, decide my anger is so important that it should reorganize the events of everybody's lives. My anger is my issue for me to deal with within my world, in the world behind my eye, not in front of it. Not in front of it. It is unthinkable that we can sculpt this world to be a just and fair place. I ask you, as someone who has been a lifelong student of history, to find me the moment in history where any people have accomplished that at all. It doesn't exist here. And what do our spiritual teachers tell us? It doesn't exist here. This planet wasn't designed for you, for us, for any generation to regroup, reorganize, and stop the chaos and decide everybody will have a fair and equal life. Why? Because there's darkness. There is darkness. There is greed. There is a sense that I deserve more than that person. There is racial superiority that drips everywhere. These are the elements that create the world we are now living in today, and it is unthinkable that it can sustain itself with these characteristics brewing in human nature. As you go up the floors in your building, you will reach a floor where your language shifts from within. So instead of talking to yourself like this, I wonder what the purpose of my life is, and where's my comeuppance, and where's my justice. You take the word my out, because you have to shift your vocabulary to get up with each level. You have to introduce words, and you have to expel certain words. You have to get rid of the word blame, deserve, entitled, and my. When you get to that place where you can release those toxic words, then you ask this question: what is the purpose of life? Not my life, life. What am I doing here? What is my capacity as a human being to make a difference in this world? How? Not a difference for those people, these people. Not so I can lessen the quality of life for those people and increase the quality for these people. I have to serve life, because as you emerge, I want you to turn to your body for a moment, to your bio-spiritual ecology that is your physical body. And here, you learn that your body operates on the laws of holism, on the laws of what is in one is in the whole. The laws of holism. They govern your health. medicine here, and it's going to blow out your kidneys, but you can have a kidney transplant, but it's going to make your heart too. So what the heck? What do you think? Micro Earth, a micro Earth. As you conduct yourself in your Earth, around your Earth, the power that you have to generate what you create, co-creation, to generate your choices. That is stop killing each other. You know what? The Pentagon found this so awful. They went to Hollywood and they said, we need some movies here that show, extraterrestrials invading the Earth and destroying it so that people have a hostile sense about the Federation that's out there. It is unthinkable that we can become a planetary community. But we've crossed the Rubicon and we've entered the age of holism. Look at your body. Your body has entered the age of holism. Thinking in fractured thoughts, thinking in fractured emotions is exactly what fractures you. And in turn, we pass that on to others. I'm escorting you affect what's happening in the world by who you are. And of course, you've heard me say it 1,000 million times, turn to prayer. Source, divine is totally in. Pray that we can find. Well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. Maybe somehow it's unthinkable, but we can think about some way to coexist. You have children, I have children. I love my children, you love your children. Right there, we have grounds for humanity. Right there. Hover over us, oh God, because this moment in time is truly unthinkable, where it can lead, and also the possibilities of what could emerge if we make light-filled choices. Thank you.
So that was Carolyn Mice. I apologize. My StreamYard is acting up tonight. It was going in and out, but YouTube or let's see, Blog Talk is working perfectly and fine. In fact, we've got a couple of callers. If you have any comments after that, I have another audio of Caroline I want to play later on, maybe in the next hour, because she has a powerful message to remind us about this period of time we're in to become whole and to become more in touch with who we are on a holistic level. So Caroline's message is basically about a building, looking at ourselves in a building where we start out on the first floor as a baby coming into, in her case, she was born in Chicago, where many of my listeners are from. And in her case, she had a father, for those who just joined us, she had a father who was in World War II. And her experience of seeing the PTSD in her father caused her to study war for the rest of her life. She's been studying war, and she's come to the conclusion now that we have to move up on this building and not stay on the first floor looking out as a child at our reality and our environment, but moving up to a higher floor, higher spiritual evolution, and realizing this war is really about helping us evolve, take more responsibility for this whole body that we're in, and making choices to become conscious, and consciousness, where the definition of consciousness is becoming aware of what the consequences are of every choice you make. That is what her teachings are about, the universe bringing us that message, that in times like this, where if you heard Dina share her childhood about being in Kazakhstan in Central Asia, the that we up. So we can't judge. We have to drop the judgment. We have to drop the blame. We have to drop the entitlement, is what Caroline's message is. And we have to become more conscious of what my choices are and how those consequences are going to show up from my individual choices. So we're going to take a break. I believe I opened up 312-721. Is that Naima Latif? And we're going to take a break and come back, and I'll take your calls. 434-306, you're next, and 706-202. Hang in there. Thank you for being here. It's collective responsibility tonight and individual responsibility going forward. So let's take a break, I think. 312-721.
Do you want to live in a world without war? Join our global peace movement. Heavenly Culture World Peace Restoration of Light transcends culture, religion, ideology, and other boundaries to achieve peaceful harmony in the global society. HWPL is committed to bringing world peace and cessation of war through peaceful dialogue between religious groups. I am Director Shin-Suk Kim of the HWPL Chicago branch of North America. Join us for our next gathering. Call 773-580-1501 and be a part of the movement for world peace. Email us at chicagohwpl@gmail.com.
We have an opportunity to transform the whole global society in the next 50 years. 50 years from now, the earth will be populated by a new generation of adults, many of whom are yet unborn. Our mission is to nurture them in childhood with love, guidance, and protection, and to raise them in healthy, happy families. If we impart values of compassion, generosity, and respect for fellow human beings in the next generation of children, they will create a world where people can live together in peace. This is our goal. Be a part of the transformation. Get your copy of the book, The Female Solution. Go to www.naimalatif.com. That's www.naimalatif.com.
I'm Beata, your holistic life coach. These days, it's more important than ever. Work on your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Are you consciously breathing deeply in stressful moments? Do you have a plan or daily routine to maintain balance in your awesome body? Are you struggling to be disciplined in your eating habits? When you partner with me, I'll help you develop a personalized health plan that works for your particular lifestyle. You can find out more about me at yourholisticlifecoach.com, where you can also review my 3-step protocol to guide you to abundant health. That's yourholisticlifecoach.com, and I'm Beata.
And we're back. Thank you, Naima Latif. She's in our Female Solution studio, welcoming guests there. And I'm in the Soul Purpose Healing studio. If you're just joining us, thank you for joining us, because the solution and creating diplomacy when the governments of the world want war for profit, it's a collective effort, but it's an individual effort, as Caroline Mice just explained, to develop consciousness. This is what she believes, and I believe as well. It's all about, in a time of war like this, where, as Dina shared earlier, her experience in Kazakhstan, and getting to know the darker side of some Muslim experience in Islam, she is now a little worried and concerned about what's going on, watching the war, and realize I feel the pain of watching a video of a young man sitting in the rubble in Gaza, staring like deer eyes into light, and being so shocked because his whole world has crumbled around. I felt that pain. So we're all feeling, if you, unless you turn off media and social media and all that, you're not gonna maybe know about it. But I know, I'm being an empath, I guess I'm feeling their pain. So we want to end this, and today is diplomacy. Only when, I believe, when majority of the human population starts thinking diplomacy and letting that thought penetrate throughout the earth, are we going to see our governments change. But for now, it's money, 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 money. And we know that song about war. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing in our minds, but in government's minds, it's good for money, 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 money. So let me take your calls. 434-306. You're on the air. What's your name?
What faith it is, we still feel that pain here.
Yes.
It travels all over, just like when Mother Teresa passed.
Yes.
Okay? Everybody felt that.
Right.
So the thing about it is that I don't like it. I don't like it because a Muslim guy had to take care of some business of mine, and we got to talking for a few minutes by phone yesterday. And I look at the heart, and that's what I told him. It's the heart. Supposing I married somebody Muslim, how would you all feel about that?
Are you asking us the question?
Tell me.
Doesn't matter to me. What's
yes. How would you feel?
See, it doesn't.
I would be looking at the heart.
Exactly. And the consciousness or not. See, people are going to behave a certain way when they're unconscious versus conscious, understanding the consequences of every choice, of every word they speak. That's a conscious person. But if you're walking or living or marrying an unconscious person, you're going to catch hell. It's going to be warlike because they're not considering the consequences of everything they do and say. So who cares who you, as far as religion, that doesn't matter at all. But it's like, are they conscious or are they unconscious in their behavior?
Well, the thing about it, I would have to talk. I just want to know you all's opinion about it. Because we marry people here, and they're off track.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Well, see, it doesn't matter.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, and you should care less about what other people think, but more about how does it feel to you in your heart. And how is this person living their life are they living their life with love in their heart, or are they judgmental? Are they entitled? Are they blaming other people? It's not really about what we think, because I'm not a Christian. I'm not a Muslim. I don't carry any label anymore for religious purposes. I'm a human soul having a journey. That's me. I've been through all the religions pretty much, and I could care less who people marry in terms of what their faith is, but I do look at their character and whether they are living a conscious or an unconscious life. So that's my opinion. Now we could open up the mic and see what Kwame Sunhorse, he's got his hand up. Let's see what Kwame Sunhorse thinks about who Gracie might marry. Kwame, your mic is open.
Good evening, Sister Viata, and good evening, Gracie.
Good
and
evening.
Good evening to, I don't know if that was a clip with Carol and the young lady from Pakistan. the word the, is the word heart, is the word ear, is the word tear, and is the word art. And the art of who you share your life with, that's in your heart. That's between you and that person. You have to understand, we have to get to this point where something I'm learning is that when we learn and this is what she was talking about, Carol was saying when she said she studied war. She studied who whole part of elevation, that part of what we draw. These two factors is that we have people, yes, these countries are fighting on the people on the planet and land that didn't have it, but this is the way that those that choose to be about war is about the resources of the earth. It's about resources. Talking about CEOs, the chief executive officer. No, we're CEO. We're conscious energy organizing. We're conscious energy organizing our purpose on the planet. When we become our own CEOs and we become utilizing the energy to organize that which is within first to organize that which is outside of you. And until then, we're going to have these wars and battles inside ourselves. Like the little cartoon that we used to watch, and it said, you know, a devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other shoulder. Which one do you choose?
So thank you.
Just look at the last part. We have until you take your last breath in this human bodysuit, you have a choice to change.
And that's what exactly.
I'm done.
I think that for many which kind of comments what Kwame just said. The definition of diplomacy is managing international relations, typically by a country's representatives abroad. And you can't help but think about social media, how when you're on social media, you have representatives of all different countries in your Facebook family, for instance. You have representatives on the internet from all different countries. Even here tonight, sometimes we have Zana, for instance, one of our female solution hosts. She's from England. So we have the opportunity to develop diplomacy, create diplomacy within our own circles. And that's how we begin to change the world, is we create a type of energy that's not dark or combative or conflicting or argumented, but we can create this diplomatic energy within our own circles. We have such a great opportunity, especially on the female solution, where we're a global family that is promoting truth, love, peace, joy, all the things that will end the war. And so we have tonight the opportunity to hear from someone like Carolyn Myss. I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name. It's Myss. And we have an opportunity to take her teaching and run with it, because the next audio I'm going to play, it's fairly long, but it's really a lot of jewels in her next presentation. But I want to first, since we're close to a commercial, I want to give everybody a perspective on the history of war. I found this interesting audio video on the origin of war, looking at the tools that people have used over the years to engage in battles, going forward to today, where our government wants to spend billions of dollars to produce a nuclear war weapon. It just blows my mind when I look at history. Just as Caroline described her studying war over the years, the historical perspective of war gave her a more spiritual understanding of what our role is and what our purpose is in life, why we're here. When you study the past like that, you come forward and you think, well, why am I here? What's the purpose of all this? Well, I hope just listening to a little bit of the origin of war will give you a historical understanding, and even overstanding of what the Creator's purpose is for allowing what we're seeing going on today.
In a part of the Nile Valley that was soon going to be flooded by the construction of the Aswan Dam, the archaeologist Fred Wendorf made a groundbreaking discovery. In 1964, he found a prehistoric burial site which contained 61 skeletons near the border between Egypt and Sudan. This burial site, called Jebel Sahaba, was constructed by the members of the Qadam 2,000 years ago, because almost all the skeletons showed clear signs. What did it look like? In this video, we address these questions and search for the origins of war. Recently, Isabel Crevecoeur and her colleagues re-examined the Jebel Sahaba finds. They do not believe the skeletons are the victims of a battle. The dead women, children, and men all show signs of fresh and healed injuries. Also, they were not all buried at the same time. This suggests that Jebel Sahaba is not a trace of the first battle in history, but a burial place for the victims of ongoing small acts of violence, i.e. rapes, ambushes, and the like. The injuries, which were to a large extent caused by arrows and spears, also support this idea. At least 2 skeletons show that people were struck down and then executed while lying down on the ground by an arrow through the lower jaw into the head. In some cases, the skeletons have numerous wounds. In tomb number 44, for example, lies a 30-year-old woman whose body contained 21 stone splinters from numerous arrowheads. Like many other skeletons, she had a broken forearm, an injury that typically occurs when defending oneself against an impact weapon, such as a club. However, the young woman's arm had healed by the time of her death, which suggests that she had been in a fight at least twice in her life. Jebel Sahaba is considered one of the earliest archaeological pieces of evidence of deliberate violence between groups. However, since it probably was a series of smaller clashes over a long period, the question remains whether these events can be considered war. To get to the bottom of this, we must ask what war is in the first place.
So that's just
The archaeologist
an
Andrew K. Scherer
introduction.
defines war as, quote, a collective effort involving.
That's just an introduction of asking the question why war exists, what does it mean? And as it shows, they had these very simple weapons. There was always broken arms, broken bones, and conflict. But if you look, then that was back in BC, some thousand BC. So we've always had these wars, but this is such a crucial time for us to create not only diplomacy, but more peace, even though our governments want to continue the profitable wars. And as Gracie was saying, it's all about money, but it's also about egos, power, oil, land, and so much more. It's about greed on so many levels. But we're going to take another break. And when we come back, I want to play a little bit more of Caroline's lecture that she gave not too long ago on the power of self, developing your self power. The power of your light is what her lecture is about. And that is, to me, how we create diplomacy within our small groups, within our small communities, within our social media, is we start developing the power of our light. And she's going to help us do that tonight. So Naima, your mic is open and we'll be right back. And
Is Monday morning a struggle to get out of bed into the swing of things? Well, don't worry, you are not alone. Join us for thought-provoking, stimulating, and mindful conversations on higher learning with Zelda Speaks for your Monday morning mindfulness session on Blog Talk Radio, The Female Solution, Mondays, 7:30 until 9 a.m. Be sure and send your ideas, thoughts, comments, and suggestions. Also, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, visit ZeldaSpeaks.com and send us your info. We'd love to have you. Experience mindfulness moments with the mindfulness/stress relief coach, Zelda Speaks. And thanks for sharing the mindfulness moment tip of the day. Stay on purpose, stay empowered, and stay tuned to your next session of mindfulness on higher learning with Zelda Speaks. Make it a mindful day. And thanks for listening.
Hi, I'm Mama Joy. And I'm Reverend Rosemary. Join us every second Saturday of the month, 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time, here on the Female Solution Global Radio TV show for Neighborship of Joy. We'll have powerful conversations inviting women to walk in the light. So call in 515-605-9325 and
is John Alexander.
And I'm Latif. Meet people like you who are making a positive difference in the world.
Thank you.
Watch us every day on The Media Connection at www.youtube.com/The Media Connection TV.
YouTube it. We'll see you soon.
There are people who choose to make a positive difference in the world. Our job is to bring you their stories to motivate you to do the same. Join us each week, host John Alexander and Naima Latif, as we bring you the educators, entertainers, elected officials, religious leaders, and community activists whose works are transforming this world. Find out how you can make a difference too. Be inspired. Watch The Media Connection. Mondays at 5 p.m. and Tuesdays at 12 noon on
where he had the land that with brothers coming back and Afghanistan, Iraq wars, and we brought them in nature. And we took them out of the cities and out of the VAs and brought them out there and put them in cabins. It's because nature was instrumental in helping. There's even a Vietnam veteran down there in Florida who's, found out that he was trying to get his disability, but he started farming and he started working in nature, growing the different foods and working with the land. And in a sense, that helped him to heal part of his PTSD by connecting with nature to help him heal, because indigenous they have ceremony called the shadow man. When a warrior comes back in from war, he's not put into the reservation with the rest of the people until he goes and he is worked with the medicine people to help him to get rid of that shadow man. Because that shadow man is in all men when you're trained to be a warrior, even the women. The part of it is that you have to learn how to put it back. You never lose it. The part is being able to know that was a part of you then, but it's not you now, and you're now back to with family and folks that love you and that are not going to harm you. And somebody was talking about, the person had when he heard thunder, he would jump, went into PTSD. When I first came home from Vietnam, I hear firecrackers and I was falling,
And you to turn off your telephones. I almost said television.
Okay. So
Hello.
yeah, I hear you. I'm trying to get this audio to play. So thank you. You know what? That's just all the more reason that our government, we cannot trust our government, can't depend on our government, and we have to find ways to live our life without this dependency. So creating the diplomacy is like creating a network, creating a support group, creating something beyond we've grown up with on
the influence that volcano had on the world, which I'm going to refer to because, not that I plan to, but as I read it, and I'm reading more of this remarkable book by Simon Winchester, it occurred to me that that one explosion, unexpected, that one volcano erupting in 1883 in the Indonesia area, changed the world, laid the groundwork for World War I, which laid the groundwork for World War II. It was unexpected. The pandemic is a Krakatoa. Ukraine, the war in Ukraine is a Krakatoa. Now, my reason for wanting to teach love, light, and law is because I believe that those are the three elements through which you understand the nature of God. There is no off-planet God that looks just like us. Rather, God is a force of creation, and this force of creation is best understood as the power of light, consistent as law, and we experience
Good evening, everybody. Oh, first of all, I'm going to remind you to turn off your telephone. I also said telephone.
power really is. Now, having said that, that's where we're going. Now, I'm going to take you back to why is it important to even pay attention to this now? We are living in chaos. And this chaos is not going to end, not in our lifetimes. No, it is not. And it is not a matter of who's in power and all this other kind of nonsense. It is because this is a profound time of transition and transformation. And your capacity to understand why we are undergoing this transformation, what it means for every person, what it means for the life we're going on, and how best to respond, even to all the garbage you're going to read in the media, all the nonsense you read in the media, all of the to become discerning so you recognize this because this is a time of profound transition between one level of consciousness and another. And wait. Whoa. Yeah. Are you guys okay? Can you see this? Can everyone see this? The Midwest. Uh, you can use the rest of your life because it's so valuable. I do it all the time now. I am frequently, no matter where I am, I think I got to get off this floor because this is not a good situation for me. And nothing changes except inside. And I instantly shift perception. I got to get a different perceptual field. And for me, She brought out 2 iced teas. I cannot tell you. I think the whole thing was choreographed by the divine, because I went from the state of, oh my God, I'm in so much pain, to, and in that state, the city that was so first floor, horrendous, all my 5 senses. This place smells bad, it looks bad, I can't stand the sound of those taxis. All my 5 senses were like, and I go up there, and all my 5 senses go, and from that, they were like tranquilized. And then I look upon, and now I see a city where the sun begins to set, the lights begin to go up, and it starts to sparkle. And I thought, this is gorgeous. No, I'm at the same address. We're just an hour, 2 hours earlier, standing at the same thing. It smelled. It was putrid to me. But now, in the same address, but at a different height and a different.
I'm going to make a bold statement and say that doing a TEDx talk is going to be the most transformative and uplifting experience.
Different altitude, the world looked gorgeous to me. And I thought, and I actually sat there with this iced tea, and I thought, you know what? This is just like life. It depends on what altitude you are living in your own self, that you look upon something, that if you decide, I can't change it, but I've got to get a higher perspective. And the more windows I put on this challenge, the more windows I have, the better I'm going to understand this. But like anything else, every floor inside of you is more expensive than the one below. Make no mistake. It costs you more money to develop your consciousness. And that money is not
a look at your electric bill. Wouldn't you like to reduce or possibly even eliminate that cost altogether? Let one of our solar consultants show you how. Call today, 312-849-3456, and schedule a free consultation. That's 312-849-3456.
Tune in to Soulful Solutions with Dr. Debbie Green on Thursdays at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time and 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to hear great topics and stories on grief and turn it into victory. Join Dr. Debbie Green to listen to stories of triumph and learn how to overcome. You are not alone in your life, and there is hope in the darkest hour. This is your time to learn strategies and solutions to improve your life. It's your time. So join Dr. Debbie Green with Soulful Solutions and call in on Thursday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time and 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at 515-605-9325 with comments and questions. Look to hear from you real soon.